Hey everybody, my name is Esther and I have young onset Parkinson's. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the little subscribe, please. So I was thinking tonight, if you don't know me, I started on TikTok. When I got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2023, I have and still have relatively young children. So at that time, like during the pandemic, my kids were like 6 and 9. And, there wasn't any school. We were in lockdown. I wasn't home because I was working in a hospital. My husband also works in a hospital. So, unlike most people, we went to work every day. And that meant that my kids were not at home for when they did remote learning. They went to a special kind of daycare provided for the children of the essential workers. And so when they went there, it was like not their normal school and stuff. They learned about TikTok from their friends. And so, in order to sort of keep an eye on them, because I didn't trust the internet, obviously, I joined TikTok too. And after I got diagnosed, I was laying in my bed one night and I thought to myself, this is kind of a big deal. I have freaking Parkinson's. And I have never met anybody in my life under 65 with Parkinson's. I want to talk about it. And so I got up out of my bed and I went into my bathroom and I set up a camera and I made a video. Now, I made two videos before that. One was just like a meme, kind of testing the waters. And then one that was just of my hand, a video of what my original trimmer looked like. And that video went viral. And that was kind of the beginning of my journey with social media. And I was thinking today about how lonely that felt, like how lonely I felt in that moment, having Parkinson's disease as somebody, my age. I'm a soccer mom. I was working, and um, how important it is to feel seen and understood, and just being able to say, "Hey, I have that. Like that sounds like me. I know what that person is going through." And so that's what I do. I share my experience because when I was, going through the process of being diagnosed, which in and of itself is often takes a long time and it's very stressful. And then after you get diagnosed, like what that first year especially looks like is a lot, you know? And so that's ultimately what I do on all my social media platforms is just share my experience and hope that somebody feels a little less alone. So I'm coming up on my 2-year diagnosis anniversary. And I was diagnosed on President's Day in 2023. And um, I think it kind of makes you be more contemplative, kind of like New Year's Day, you're looking back at your previous year and what you've learned. And more than anything, what I've learned is when it comes to the medication, but when it comes to really everything, that nothing's perfect, you know? There's no quick fixes, there's no magic pill, there's no silver bullet. It's like this, just like life, you know? And Crexont is like that for me. Rytari was like that for me. And more, I focus less and less when I can. I mean, I'm going through a med change right now, so I have to focus on it till I get my dosage sort of settled. But not to sort of have that expectation of perfection, or really anything in life anymore. I was always a perfectionist in my work. I wanted to be the smartest person and the hardest working person and the person that achieved the most. And after my diagnosis, I realized how quick things that are very, very important to you can become unimportant, right? So, people, places, things. I used to be a big shopper. I love to shop. I love to get a deal. I would go to like the store during a sale, and I knew when all the sales happened and perused the racks, and like that was my thing. Now I hate shopping. If I could have everything delivered by Amazon, I would. And it was kind of the same thing in my career. Like I love my job. And then one day I woke up and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore, you know? Like it just all of those things that I had as goals in my future just like melted away. And all I kept thinking is like, I want to be home and I want to spend as much time as I can with my family and do the things that like are going to give me joy. Now, when you first get diagnosed, sometimes it's tempered with this feeling of like, I call it like the bucket list phenomenon. Like, I want to get all these things done while I can, you know? And that's the thing, you know. I'm not saying like we're all. I always like to say none of us are getting out of this alive. I'll tell you that much, you know. So I'm very carpe diem, seize the day type of person, anyway. But I think that mentality of like we have to get everything done before we die, or we end up, you know, not being mobile, puts like too much pressure on you. When I first got diagnosed, my husband had that came to me, and he was like, because we were thinking that like, oh, we need a bucket list this, you know. And he's like, what do you want? And I was like, you know, I really want to go to Scotland because my mother's side of the family is Scottish. And so he's like, done. So we went to Scotland and it was awesome. But by the time we did, I realized I know people that have had this disease 15, 20, 25 years, and they're still doing pretty damn good. And I also know people that don't have Parkinson's that are 65 that frankly look like they got one foot in the grave, you know? So we all kind of had this realization that, you know, hopefully, knock on wood, I'm going to be living with this disease a really long time. And I've shifted out of that bucket list phase more into just living in the moment and being really grateful for what I have and enjoying the simple things. I love to travel, but travel is harder now. Not because my symptoms are so progressed, but just the stress of it wears on me. And what I notice is for every, you know, really great, joyous, fun, amazing vacation I have now, I need another vacation of equal or greater length to recover from it. And I think we should push ourselves to do hard things and do the things we love. But again, it just changes. And so we travel overseas a lot. And I was telling my husband this year, like, I don't want to go. Like, I just, like, let's go to someplace closer, you know, like make things easier because you can find just as much, if not joy, more joy and you know, satisfaction out of the simple things. So I'm a pretty extra person. I do things usually over the top, but more and more I'm appreciating the simple things in life, like a walk in the park, spending time playing ping pong or hiking or going to walk through a museum. I love museums. Whatever that thing looks like, just making popcorn or whatever and just hanging out. I still want to maintain a social life, but not have so much pressure. So I hope that everyone will stay with me on this journey and we'll see what this looks like and share our experiences. And remember that you're never alone. There's always somebody out there going through something very similar to you. And it helps to share your stories. So, as always, I hope this helps.